Okay, we have to start with some sense of purpose and excitement and joy. Good afternoon. Oh, it might not be afternoon where you are. So good morning, afternoon, or evening, or late night, graveyard, anytime within the 24-hour span.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here. We are Wholehearted Living with
Valerie
and Bennie, and we are the sibling podcasts where
one of us brings a topic to the show and the other one has no idea what it's about, but then we chat about it.
And sometimes the person who didn't have anything to say or didn't know has more to say than the person who came in, which might be the case today. I love it when I put all the pressure on Valerie because she really doesn't like to be, well, you kind of do and kind of don't like to be the person, right?
I like to
bring the topic.
I like to be the person.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then you kind of know. Yeah. You don't like to be sprung on.
Except for last week when I didn't really remember what I was going to talk about since I forgot my notes.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I like to know.
What's funny is that they never would have known that you forgot your notes.
I know.
Because we do such a great job of talking that they would have never known.
I know.
But in the end, so we're glad you're here, folks. Iggy, thank you so much. What do you got to say to us? Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's good. Thank you. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Well, that's Iggy. All right. Well, oh man, I had something I was going to tell you and then I just forgot. Iggy messed it all up.
Wow. Do you guys know by the time you listen to this, I will be on summer break?
That's what I was going to talk about.
You liar.
Not your break. I could care less. What I was going to talk about is, you know what's going on in just a couple of weeks? By the time they get this, when is this airing, Iggy?
Let me check the calendar.
Okay. But I think it's airing. This is going to air when Patty and I are literally in Ireland.
Oh.
I think we'll actually be in Ireland. What's the date?
This is going to air on the 26th of June.
Oh, we'll be back from Ireland.
Never mind.
So never mind. That was I should have done it last week. But nevertheless, Patty and I are going to Ireland.
I know.
So we're very, very excited.
That is so exciting. That's Peter's literal, because he's Irish, bucket list, like, has to go one day.
Well, we decided to go there. Why did we decide to go there versus anywhere else? I really can't remember. We've been to Ireland before where we just went to a pub. We had like a long layover when we were going to France. And so we went to a pub, and I think I already talked about that one time, but we obviously did not explore beyond that pub. And so now we decided we want to see it. We're going to go see Northern Ireland. We're going to go see, if you care about, what's our show with Billy Crystal? Princess Bride, The Cliffs of Insanity.
I've never seen Princess Bride.
Oh my God, is that true?
We've talked about this a few episodes ago.
Oh, did we really? That just doesn't make any sense.
I know, I'm so sorry. Maybe I'll try to watch it before the next episode.
You really need to watch it. It's a classic. It's literally going to go down there with the other ones. I can't remember any classics right now.
I think you brought up a Princess Bride reference, and she thought it was Star Trek.
Oh, you're right, Iggy. You're right.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't remember anything. Thank you, Iggy. Okay. But anyway, the thing is that, so there's the Cliffs of Insanity, which when you see it, but we're probably going to go into Northern Ireland, which is where the Game of Thrones was done. Isn't that right? Game of Thrones. And I think also Mel Gibson's movie, what's that? Braveheart was also filmed there. We're probably not going to make it to wherever he was at. But we are hoping to see wherever they did Game of Thrones. So these are all things that are really funny that we could just watch on TV, but
no, you have to walk through it.
No, but the thing, what we're looking forward to is we actually rented a car, so we're just driving through the whole country,
I love that.
And we're gonna get to stay in a castle. So we're gonna actually stay in a castle for one night,
and you can even like sit on the toilet. What do they call that when you're sitting on the throne?
Yeah, I guess
Isn't
that's
that a
what it
thing?
is. I don't know, but yeah, I could sit on the throne here.
That's what I'm saying. So you could do it in there too, because you're going to be in a castle.
I'm planning on having a bowel movement in Ireland. I hope so, at least. Otherwise,
my
it'll be a
goodness.
disappointing trip.
I'm so funny sometimes.
Sometimes. What? Oh, and see, this is the thing is that Patty really wanted to stay at a castle. So that's like the most expensive part of the entire trip. We practically could go to Ireland again, but that's not true. But that's not even remotely true. But we're going to stay one night in an actual castle. And apparently the way the room it looks like a castle type room.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're having tea. We're having like a formal tea as well that we've already
And
signed
you get
up
to
for.
lift your little pinky up when you drink your tea.
I don't
Yes.
know. All I know is that we're looking forward to it. And there's like a whole tour area. And then everybody talks about the Guinness. I don't really like Guinness. I mean, I don't like beer. I'm a whiskey guy, which they have a lot of whiskey. So we're going to some whiskey distilleries and we're going to go. But everybody says you have to go to the Guinness factory
absolutely.
or whatever it's called. And Patty loves Guinness. So
You and Peter should have just went together.
yeah, that would have been neat. You guys could have told us about the castle. That would have been great. I would have enjoyed that. Yeah. But anyway, so then we're going to drive around the whole countryside, which, from what I gather is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking forward to it. So
Fun.
I know. We're very excited. And our last podcast, we talked about, oh my gosh, your eyes got really big.
Because you went, you scared me.
The last podcast, Peggy, you said that it was, things happen for a reason, right?
Yes.
So for those of you that don't know, is last year Patty and I went we went on a cruise to go see Valerie's daughter perform on a ship, and our first flight was delayed by 12 hours or something like that, and we lost our luggage. I didn't get my luggage the whole time. I ended up getting 3 pairs of Birkenstocks for that. But but here's the thing that's interesting, and a bunch of clothes. But see, here's the thing that's really interesting is that, and we didn't know this, and we were really quite irritated. But when we contacted them about this delay, them meaning United, we said, we want money. Basically, you have to give us something for this.
Yeah.
And they offered us $100 at the thing, and we were like, $100 for a 12-hour flight delay? That's crazy. And they were like, well, we're going to give you 2 of these things, food vouchers and stuff like that. But they go, and then he kind of looked at us and literally said, if you want more money, you got to just contact them directly. And so we're like, okay, we'll do that. So we did. And then they kept offering us $100. And we were like, this is ridiculous. You guys keep offering us just $100. And finally we just gave up. It was how many months that we did that? It was months and months and months that we were doing that. And they said that. The UK, on the other hand, is a totally different thing. If you're delayed by 4 hours, is it? 3 hours, they automatically are required by law to give you $1,000. $1,000? Yes. Did we get that? Yes. Oh, $1,000.
Wow.
So they have to give you $1,000 if you're delayed by 3 hours. We were delayed by 4. And so we got $1,000. And then unbeknownst to us, every time we complained about the $100, they were giving us $100 and $100 and $100. So we ended up with almost $1,500, $1,600.
So
and
it wasn't them just saying, we'll give you $100. And you're like, okay, finally, it's fine. Give me the $100.
Exactly.
They were putting it in every single time.
Every single time we complained, they would give us another $100. And so we were getting $100 every single time. So we ended up with about $1,600.
Wow.
So the flight there is free.
That is very cool.
So yeah, so now we're kind of hoping that we're going to get delayed again for 4 hours. So that's my goal. I hope to get delayed over there for $400.
Yeah.
We'll never pay for a flight the rest of our lives.
Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah. So
Unless yeah.
unless it,
No,
but
because
yeah.
I was saying unless you have a connecting flight, but you did, and then that got screwed up too.
Yeah,
So.
that was a whole nother
Yeah.
thing. But no, on the way home though, which was interesting, we did not have a connecting flight. It was direct from London to LAX. So the fact that we were 4 hours late didn't really matter, other than arriving 4 hours late.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was all a mess. I'm not even going to talk about that. So we can move on from there. But how are you?
I'm good. I am. Like I said, by the
did you
time this thing ends,
Oh yeah, you'll be. Out of
I
school.
will be on summer break, and so the next time we record, I will be on summer break and I will just feel so summery.
Look it up, folks. Summary. It's in the definition.
No, I'm like picturing my day, like of that day, like, oh, is it going to be sunny? Will I have gone to the beach that day and then come here and record? Who knows?
The whole world is
my
at your
oyster.
fingertips. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh,
boy.
that's too funny.
But no, as it stands right now, recording, we have 9 days left of school, and it's just like everybody wants out. You know what I mean? It's just, and not on top of that, I think I mentioned this a while back, that we're having 3 new classes like next year, SDC classes, special day classes, and because they're coming in, all the classes are being moved around. So not only is it the end of the year right now, but teachers are frantic because they're like, I have to move my stuff over to the other side of the school. And so they're like not only trying to
What do you
pack
mean
up
move
for
it to
summer,
the other side of the school?
like
It's
they're
not allowed to stay in the room.
they're moving their classroom to another site. Like they're repositioning most classrooms to other classes. And so it's just a lot for teachers. You know what I mean? Like I get to walk away the last day of school and say bye. Although I did help. I did offer to help some of the teachers
and you also
if they
don't get
need.
paid what they get paid. So who cares?
But
All right. Well, you ready for my topic?
I am.
All right.
Drum roll.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Do we have drum roll, Iggy?
Boxers or tidy whities? No, that's not the topic.
Oh my goodness.
You're totally kidding. You don't wear boxers, right?
Or tidy whities.
Yeah. So this is going to be a weird thing. We're talking about wholehearted living, but this was something I saw in my journal, and I thought I don't think we've ever totally completely talked about this, and so I thought we would talk about it. I'm believing that it has something to do with wholehearted living, but I might be completely stretching it. So you're going to have to make it
I'm
work.
excited to find this one out.
Okay. So what this has to do with is relationships, right? So most of what we talk about has to do with, or I shouldn't say most, last week didn't, but a lot of what we talk about has to do with relationships and being in relationships. Mm-hmm. So here is my question to you. In relationships, things don't always go perfect. Is that a fair statement?
It's completely fair.
Yeah.
Duh.
So if relationships don't go perfect, then when things don't go well, what do you do when it doesn't go well? Like what do you do when you've offended somebody? If you've offended somebody, have you ever offended somebody?
Oh, I'm sure. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right this second. But so you're talking about relationships in general, not just like my partner relationship.
No, but I'm talking about in general, but you can certainly use your partner because maybe that'll extrapolate into other people too. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying when you end up having conflict, but I don't want to just talk about conflict. I'm saying where and I blew that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, then what do you do?
Where I know that I've offended someone?
Yeah, or whether it's offense, it could be you offended them or just did something. I don't know if the right word's offended, because offended could be, really intentional. But where they ended up getting hurt, whether that was your intention or not. I mean, sometimes we might purposely say something and later go, ooh, I really blew that. Yeah. And then sometimes we didn't even remotely intend on it and we still hurt them.
Yeah.
So what do you do? We'll just wait.
You know what? It's interesting that you're asking this, because I'm trying to think of, maybe something else will come to mind with somebody else, but like my first thought is like to think, have I hurt or offended Peter in any way? And it's interesting because I know I have, and I know it wasn't my intention on certain things, whatever it might be. But I am so freaking stubborn, and this isn't a wholehearted way to live, I'll tell you that. But it's taken me a long time to be the first one to just go, okay, well, I'm really sorry that I hurt you or offended you or whatever. But my initial thing is basically, but that's not what I meant. That's not how I said it, or that's not wasn't my intention,
Right.
if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
And so, but I'm really trying lately to be more, because he's a very sensitive person. I mean, he'll admit that he does, you know, even if I say something that sounds like I'm talking down to him or whatever, he takes it, he's very sensitive. Like he always wants it to be a light tone and whatever. And I'm saying it in a way because mostly because of how he was brought up and how he heard things, right? So when I say it and it sounds like I'm coming off in a way that is hurting him or offending him, it's very hard for me just to go, okay, I'm so sorry that I hurt you. It's hard for me to recognize that it's just the hurt he's talking about. And I end up just saying, that's not how I meant it though.
Oh, so you kind of justify what you said, or would it be called justification, or you're trying to clarify what you
clarify? Because honestly, I don't remember. I can't think of any time that I've set out to say something to hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
But what I mean is, if something comes off differently, or you know, not in the tone of voice that he wants to hear me say something, I'm like, but that's not how I said it, or that's not how I meant it. You know?
Yeah.
So. That's probably not the answer you want to hear, but that's
no, it
an
is.
honest
It's a great
answer.
thing.
Oh, okay.
What I'm curious about is how important is and you said I apologize, or what did you say? How did you say what you said? Your apology. How important is that in the relationship, for the relationship to continue or to grow or to be better?
I think it's huge for him, or you know, and vice versa. If something has offended me, that for him to say, well, I'm so sorry that I hurt you. But I don't think that, well, I just used the word but I was just going to say, a lot of times when I do realize and recognize that I have to say I'm sorry, I don't want to always have to put in a but, and I'm trying very hard to just say, I'm really sorry if that hurt you, and leave it there, not say, but I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it like that, or you heard it wrong, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, one thing that I think is interesting about apologies, especially, let's talk about another important relationship. Not all of our listeners are in this ballpark, but well, I guess in one sense you are. All of us have parents, right? And some of us are parents. And another place that it's important is, I know, I think it's fair to say, and I don't want to throw him under the bus, but I don't know that my dad has ever apologized to me. I can't remember ever being apologized to.
I don't know. Yeah.
And
I don't.
And what's interesting
I
is,
can't think of anything.
I think there was a generational thing, and I think there probably still is something that says, if I apologize, it's a sign of weakness. It's like for me to apologize means that I'm putting myself under you.
Yeah.
Like, so I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, and our dad in particular, the way he was raised and the way he really honored his father, and I think would love for us to honor him, was I can't do that, you know,
because I'm going to lower it, and you're supposed to be quote unquote under me because I am your parent.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. And ironically, I think when people apologize, they actually go above you. They actually kind of are showing a sign of strength that I am willing to say that I was wrong in that particular occasion. And I want to own it. Yeah. I guess that's the right word, you know? And I think there's something to be said about that in every single relationship is being able to go, I'm going to, you know, especially parents. I don't know, unless you're Mr. Rogers, I'm guessing, you probably have made a mistake.
Yeah.
And,
it's very interesting that you said that, because I have no problem apologizing to my kids if I feel like I've hurt them or wronged them or said something, you know, out of line.
Yeah,
I have
me neither.
no problem.
I think I do that. Do I do that? I'm looking at my wife. I'm pretty quick to apologize about tone or just inappropriate things that I've said. and misunderstandings, because there are times, like you said, where I didn't intend to do harm, and later I found, either later or even in the moment, I found out that it was harmful, and I do apologize. There might be times when I apologize and I go to the bathroom and say, "What? I don't understand." You know, and I'm frustrated because it's like I didn't have any intention.
But the apology isn't necessarily like, I don't know if I'm getting off track on this, but I'm like thinking of specifics. Like maybe let's just say I'm trying to do something really quickly and or maybe get the house cleaned up, and you know, I noticed that Kylie made breakfast and there's, you know, Kylie, why didn't you wipe the stuff off after you cook breakfast or whatever? And then she's like, oh, I was going to get to it, but and then I'm like, I don't understand. Why don't you just do it? You know, I'm just thinking of a scenario. I don't know if this has happened, but what I'm saying is like, then later I think I didn't need to take it. I could have said it nicer. Like, you know what, Kai, I'm cleaning. Can you come over and clean the stove? You know, end of story. I didn't need to be like,
but if it was the 10th time that you asked,
well,
that's
that
the
could be
reason why.
too.
That's the reason why.
But my apology to her is more, I am so sorry how I asked you to do that.
My tone.
Exactly.
Right. Not that I asked.
I know. You still need to do it.
Right.
But I shouldn't have barked like that, you know? And so,
well, for me, it's almost always a bark.
yeah.
I mean, excuse me. I don't always bark.
Right.
But why I am apologizing is
for
I'm
the bark,
barking, because I don't think, I should be careful about saying something so blanket, but I don't usually intentionally say something. I'm pretty cautious about my words in terms of purposely offending.
Yeah.
But my bark and then sometimes my joking, my sarcasm could be offensive. So I like to be funny, and I think I am. Matter of fact, I know I am. I'm 100% certain. I'm always funny. and so I always say that. I always say I'm funny. And then my wife always says, looking. Yeah. I had a person when I was working at Starbucks as a manager, and I literally said this to her. And I never did this at work, but I said something that was funny. I go, I'm funny. And she looked at me and she goes, Benny, looks aren't everything. Yeah. She made me laugh.
Oh
I fired her. But anyway, no, but I think why I'm bringing this up is to live a wholehearted life. I think one of the things that's super important for us is to be right with other people. And if we're not right with other people, then we carry this burden around. You know, I mentioned for the last several weeks that I've been in this internship. I was in this internship situation that was very, very difficult. And I recognized something about me. I told Patty, this has affected me in the past, and it's something that I'm hoping I'm going to get better at. I hesitate to say, okay, now I know, because I thought I knew before.
Yeah.
You know? But I really have a hard time when someone is giving me something that I need, telling them the truth about whatever is going on in me.
Yeah.
I have a difficult time with that. So in this case, I need hours for me to graduate with my MFT. And this person was communicating in such a way that literally made no sense to me. I can honestly say this now. And I had no idea the stress that I really thought I was taking it. I don't think I like to be a victim. I don't think I like it. I don't know that I realize this, but I kind of think, no, I can handle this. I can handle this thing. I can handle this thing.
Sure.
And instead of addressing the issue and saying, I have to be honest with you, I am not understanding what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like you're speaking another language.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how to say it right, because this person is unique, quite frankly. Like I've mentioned in previous podcasts, even my supervisors for the university who knew her thought she was unique. So we
are all unique.
Yeah, well, that's true. Shut up. But the thing is that I felt like I didn't know how to deal with her. And honestly, what I probably should have done months ago is say, you know what, I just want to let you know I'm looking for a new site because I don't think this is going to work out for me. Yeah. And I probably should have said that, and then it would have probably dispelled a lot of different things and we wouldn't have to worry about it. I probably just should have said, you know, this isn't working for me. And I could have been honest with her and said, you know, it's just that this is not jiving, and whether or not I don't know if you feel like it or not, but I'm not sure that this is working for me. And it either would have led to us maybe
Yeah.
coming to an understanding,
compromise or
or
somehow,
would have
yeah.
led to us
Say departing,
leaving, but I
not
left
living
it.
with that stress for the
Right.
last. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And I ended up leaving poorly, and that I regret. But and what I mean by poorly is that I wish I would have done some things, and I wouldn't have done other things. And in the end, it just the way we ended was kind of like, okay, we're
Abruptly,
apart. It's not going to work, and we're done. And so I kind of wish that it wouldn't have been like that. But what's ironic is losing that sight. I should have like really. And what I will say that I did do well is that day I apologized profusely for things that I did. Which I honestly didn't do radical things. But I'm just gonna say I apologized for my part in whatever happened. Let her know. And then I just said, but I think the best thing, it seems to me, is that you and I go different ways, and that's that. And she agreed, and that was that. And so, but what's interesting is that I didn't realize the burden I was carrying because I wasn't dealing with things head on. I wasn't addressing those things. If I ever have issues with my kids, if I ever have issues with people that are close to me, it's like I feel like I gotta talk about those things. Sure. Especially if I know that I own a part of being wrong, then I'm gonna let you know I messed up. Yeah. And I would say, I'm looking at my wife, that I'm pretty quick at doing that. I'm pretty fast at saying that I'm wrong. Patty, she's sitting right over there. She's gonna say, "You be nice." She's more like you, because she'll say something that's really offensive. I'm like, "Really? Is that what you mean to say to me right now?" And she's like, "Yeah." She'll just keep going and going, and she'll just keep digging and digging and digging and digging and digging and digging. And I'm like, "Patty," and then finally, like an hour later, she's like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, yeah.
And I really, but it takes her a while. I don't like to get to that point.
Yeah.
I just like gotta go. I blew it. I blew it. You know, if my kid or somebody says, "Why do you have to be like that?" I'm like, "Oh my God, why do I have to be like that?" I quickly do that. But the point is that I think a lot of people live with a lot of burdens with a lot of people, and that's not wholehearted living.
Yeah, right.
It's like, it's yucky.
It is.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's true. I think that you need to clear up things. Like if I feel like I wronged one of my kids for whatever, I have a very easy time saying, you know what, I am so sorry.
Why do you think it's different between your kids and Peter?
Well, because honestly, and I mean this wholeheartedly, when I say something to Peter, I never meant it to be as like a dig, or I don't mean to say it in a tone that he's hearing it in. Now, granted, you know, a lot of times he goes, "Well, I don't think you heard how you said it." And it's true. Like maybe I'm saying it at a time that I'm already kind of like heightened with frustration or stress or whatever. And but I'm like, as soon as I tell him, in my mind, I'm like, well, as soon as I tell him that's not how I meant it, then it's going to be good. Right. But then he's like,
it still hurt me.
Well, yeah. And then I'm like, but that's not what I meant. You know what I mean? And so instead of me just going, okay, well, I am so sorry that I want to say that.
I get what you're saying, because there are times that I'll say something. I'll say one thing and Patty will go, and she barks at me like she cuts my head. And I'm like, what is the matter? And she goes, well, you're telling me this. And I'm like, I literally will say this. Listen to exactly what I said. Because it's funny how you can say, you could say something so very benign. Hey, would you mind bringing me some water? And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And she's like, you just told me that I'm a woman who has to be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen giving you water. And I'm like, no, I said, would you mind getting me some water since you were standing there? But that's the way it's, I think what happens for us, people, humans, is that sometimes, and I guess it depends on our mood, it depends on whatever's going on, but we hear something that's totally different than what the person is trying to convey.
Exactly. And that's exactly it. And it's usually a very benign sentence or whatever it is. But, you know, I'll go, I said it like this, and I'll, you know, say it. And he's like, well, that's not how you said it. But instead of me just owning how he heard me say it, I'm just very defensive on that's not what I meant.
Right. But I'm sure that what you're partly thinking is, why do I have to change why can't you agree that that really isn't the way I heard it, but that's the way I said it.
Yeah.
But you interpreted it that way.
Well, yeah,
that's
exactly.
what you're arguing.
And that's what I would love to hear. But at the same time, what is wrong with me that I can't just recognize that it hurt him no matter what?
Right.
And me just go, I'm so sorry that, that you heard it like that. That's not my intention. And I didn't mean to say it like
Right.
that if that's how it came across. Like, why can't I just do that from the get-go? I am trying to do that more. I am honestly, like, if something happens where I'm like, I'm so sorry, I don't know.
I
can't
think the
of
thing
it.
that's different about, I don't want to say different, I don't know. The thing that's unique about your relationship with Peter is you are obviously heavily invested in making sure that that relationship always works out.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas what do you do in the case of the person at work who you really don't care about and they say something like, God, you're a B, you know what I mean? Or you're just horrible. And then you're just like, you know what? I really don't care about fixing this, or I don't know. But that's, I think, where, and that's what kind of happened with me and my supervisor is like, I just don't care about this relationship. I really don't care. But I had no idea that it was stealing from me a lot of life because I should have been afterwards so stressed out. Like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now that I don't have a site and I have to do this? And instead I had the best night's sleep I've had in weeks.
Right.
And so it was like, oh, I'm so glad that that's over. And I knew it. We would have meetings every Tuesday, and I would literally be Sunday and Monday, I'd be going, okay, here comes Tuesday. Here comes Tuesday. I mean, literally, I'm not joking. I didn't realize it until the first Tuesday that I didn't have her, that I was like, oh,
wow, I feel good
this
today.
is nice.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not thinking about it. But had I just dealt with my part of it, she could have said whatever she felt like she was, hurt with me, and then I could have owned it. But the truth of the matter, well, you were going to say something. I'm sorry. So I don't know. Did that make sense? I don't know. Did you? Were you?
I don't know.
Are you? Well, say something. Nice. Okay. Well, I'm going to read to you something that I wrote down that I thought, these are 9 essential ingredients of a true apology. You ready?
Ooh, I am.
It's funny because you said one of them already.
Oh.
The very first one is, a true apology does not include the word
but.
Exactly.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah, because if you include the word but, I will say there was a time, I don't like throwing my dad under the bus. Okay, he's a very good man. Okay, he's very generous. He's very nice. He has his faults. So do I. But I'll never forget the time that
I do not have faults, however. No, just kidding.
I'll never forget the time that he apologized to my daughter, and then for something that happened. It doesn't matter. And the long story short is, but he said but, and then went on and on and on and on. And then my daughter was like, I don't understand, because that's not the way we did apologies. Once you put the word but on any kind of apology, the apology's gone. It's gone. So, number 2, keep the focus on the actions and not on the other person's response.
Ah.
What do you think of that?
Oh, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I love that.
Yeah. So keep it on on my actions and what I'm doing and how I need to do it, not on whether or not they respond.
How you want them to respond.
Exactly. To my apology. Number 3. Includes an offer of reparation or restitution that fits the situation. So I guess it depends on different circumstances.
Yeah.
When you're talking about
what I'm talking about,
I
that's
said
kind
something.
of like hard.
I said something with a bad tone. I'm not sure.
Yeah, how you. The next time I'll go, could you please get me some water from the kitchen?
I am not barefoot or pregnant. No, I think part of that could be in the sense of saying, hey, could you help me with how I could say this better? What could I say? Because I didn't say that.
I've personally said that, though.
Yeah.
No, I have actually. Huh?
So no, is that a but?
No, it's not a but. I have said, how could I have said it better? How could I have said it differently?
Yeah, well, that's good.
No, yeah.
So it's basically, because in that kind of situation, I think when you're actually offending somebody with something that you did, then it's like, well, what can I do to make this better? So there you go. Number 4, does not overdo. I think this is really important. If you keep apologizing to the point that it becomes like Like, in other words, you overdo the apology, and now it's like you're making
meaningless almost. 'cause
yeah,
it's
well,
not-
and also it's almost like you're making fun of the person for them being offended. Is that a fair statement? Iggy, are you with us? Are you listening, Iggy?
I'm processing.
Okay. Have you offended my daughter?
Probably.
Okay, I don't know why I'm laughing at that, but yeah.
Apologies have happened.
Okay. Number 5. Doesn't get caught up in who's more to blame or who started it. That's a really big one because I think I fall into that one. So sometimes Patty will get fussy with me with certain things and then I'll apologize. At the same time, I'm thinking, Patty, do you not see that you were mean to me though at all? And it's like, that's not cool.
You just got to own your part.
That's it. You got to own your part. Number 6 requires that a good apology requires that you do your best to avoid a repeat performance. So if we just keep doing the same thing over and over again, your apologies become irrelevant, right? Number 7, apology should not, this is really cool, should not serve to silence. Do you get it?
No, actually, I'm thinking, what do you mean? Apologies should not serve to silence.
In other words, if the person's hurt and then you apologize and you're just saying, stop talking about it. I've apologized. Let's move on.
Oh, gotcha.
But if the person's hurt,
yes,
they have the perfect right to keep talking about their hurt.
Yes.
And then you, without overdoing it, can just continue to say, you're right. I'm sorry. And we just take it.
Oh, you mean so you can't just say, how many times do I have to apologize?
Exactly. Because that's the thing. I mean,
Yeah.
and you know what? I find myself apologizing for some things that I've done years ago. And I don't mind doing it. I wish I wouldn't have done it in the first place. And so the truth is that if we don't own those things and we kind of say, gosh, when are you going to get over it? That's not for me.
Because sometimes there's triggers in somebody. If it's something that would really hurt them, it just comes up again.
Yeah.
And you can't help how you feel because
No.
it's a legit feeling.
That's
Yeah.
right. And certainly saying, hey, I already apologized for that. So, hey, let's move on.
Yeah. No.
That doesn't work.
Right.
Number 8, we're almost done, folks. Shouldn't be offered to make you feel better if it risks making the hurt party feel worse.
Right.
So this is a big thing too, because sometimes people will say they're sorry for something that happened where it's like because you feel guilty about whatever took place, but the person hasn't necessarily stated their offense. And now you're bringing it up and you might be even bringing up a wound that they didn't even know was there. So it shouldn't relieve your guilt.
Sure.
That's not the point of a good apology. And lastly, does not ask the hurt party to do anything, not even to forgive. I remember being in therapy. I might have already shared this once, but I'm going to share it. I was in therapy once, and this therapist took me on a walk, and we went for a walk together. I'll be honest with you, I don't remember what we were talking about, but I got pissed.
Oh, I do remember this. Yeah.
And I called him. I was pissed, and I don't remember what I said. I don't remember anything, but I basically was a prick. And we ended up, the next time we met, I went to him and I said, will you forgive me? That was my way of apologizing. And he just pissed me off more because he goes, it's not for you to ask for forgiveness. It's for you to say that you're sorry for what you did. It's for me to choose to forgive you or not. Well, it totally turned everything over for me because I had never thought of it that way.
Right.
I totally thought, well, I asked for forgiveness. Yeah. But asking for forgiveness is asking to relieve my guilt.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not asking for them to experience the shame or just to have an apology.
Yeah.
To truly experience an apology. Now, as a preacher, you can preach to people that they should forgive because it is better for us if we release that guilt and we don't carry that with us. It's better for us. But as the person who's apologizing, it's not my job to ask the person to forgive me. It's my job to make sure that they understand that you were sorry for the action that I committed. So,
and then hopefully at the end of that is you would forgive yourself.
Yeah, for sure. That's another podcast, right?
Yeah.
So By the way, all those things were not from me. They were from Dr. Harriet Lerner.
I like that.
Yeah. Why won't you apologize? A book.
Is that
she
a
wrote.
book?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Why won't you apologize? So, anywho, that's my topic.
Never mind. I'll tell you later.
you
that
can't
was a
do
good
that.
no, no, really. I'll tell you later.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, she's going to
I'm
tell
like
us later.
tapping you on. You're like, what? Oh my god. No, I.
Iggy,
that was
what
a
did
good
you learn?
topic.
Tell us everything. I'm just kidding.
He's like,
Okay,
to
sorry.
apologize to your daughter. No.
Exactly. What were you going to say? You.
That's what I was going to say.
Well, folks, so that's it.
That
I
was
just
good.
want
I
you to be
liked
able to
it.
live with freedom. And I think we live with freedom when we take ownership of the things that we've blown and, and we move forward from there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That was good. It made me think a lot.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So, guys, follow us on Instagram at wholehearted_living_podcast on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. And you can like and subscribe if you will.
Mm-hmm. To
Spotify and YouTube.
That's right, Valerie.
Wow.
Thank
I'm
you
like
so
a
much.
robot.
But folks, we're glad you're here. Iggy, as usual, thank you so much for keeping us.
Yes. Thank
in
you
our
so much,
sound.
Iggy.
Thank you.
Iggy
you.
Meister.
Did you want to have anything to add? No.
He's good.
He's good. Cool. Anyway, well, we're glad you're with us, folks. We're always glad that you're joining us. We would love to hear any comments that you have about a topic that you would like in the future, and then please subscribe, like, forward, do all those things. It's a way for us to get to influence even more people.
Yes. Yeah. And if you don't know how to send us a topic or send us questions or comments, you can just go to the Instagram. If you're not on that, then wherever you're listening to this, just put a comment in there.
That's perfect.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thank you, Benny. That was good.
Yay.
Yay. All right, guys. See you next week.
Ciao.
Bye.